In this video, I want to go over a topic that brushes the PvP and PvE conversation, which tends to be a hot topic within the Star Citizen community, and that is combat. Is CIG too hyper-focused on combat within Star Citizen? Before I get too deep into this topic, I want to preface my comments by saying I completely understand that combat is part of the game and the lore of Star Citizen and how the UEE has established the CDF to support the Empire. Thus is why we see industrial ships with weaponry and players having access to military ships and even capital warships. So with that being said, let's talk about ships in general and CIG's emphasis on weaponry. Ships are the heroes of the game. The type of ship and its specs will dictate what you'll be able to accomplish with said ship. My question is, does every ship need weapons? When I see an industrial or utility ship with weapons and marketing materials, I think to myself, will this even make a difference in a fight with a dedicated combat ship? Why does it even matter? Or can we make more use of utility mounts instead? There are many scenarios where I believe it makes complete sense. For example, large ships like the Arastra, Orion, Starfarer. These are ships that are expected to be in deep space for long periods of time with a full crew, and some sort of defense is necessary for a possible pirate attack. But does it make sense for a prospector, or a vulture, or even an Argo mole? These ships have a horrible turn rate and would be fortunate to even land a shot when attacked, so why even have them? I do know that there are some ships without weapons already, but would it not be more beneficial to turn these weapon mounts into some sort of maybe combo mount where you could attach a utility device such as a tractor beam if you saw a need for it? This idea of attaching weapons to every ship in some cases doesn't make sense. Weapons are an offensive approach to combat. But with an industrial ship, should CIG think of a new device that are defensive in nature? This got me thinking of unique ideas and devices that could be attached to weapon mounts. One idea is a launcher of some sort, like a grenade launcher, but for ships, that shoots an explosive canister and maybe emits a radioactive shockwave, disabling targeting systems from all ships within a 2-kilometer radius for a short period of time. Something like this can possibly buy you a window of time to evade the attack. Maybe instead of a radioactive shockwave, we just use an existing EMP mechanic that is already in game. Or a blinding light like a flashbang, making the pilot blind for 10 to 15 seconds. These are just some creative ways to defend yourself rather than having weak weaponry, which really won't do you any good in this type of situation. Ultimately, I would like to see CIG create more industrial or science ships with no weaponry at all, and instead come up with a great defensive idea that will protect the ship and allow it to escape, because its sole purpose is not combat. Even include ways where it's easier for non-combat players to group up with those who are focused on combat and can provide a safe travel. Moving on to FPS, we have the new distribution centers which provide a much bigger location with more things to do other than just combat. We have upcoming cargo missions along with investigation and box delivery missions, and who knows what else will CIG add later. What about the current bunker missions we had for years? Will CIG add repair missions with the upcoming engineering gameplay? There was a sneak peek of generators that will be repairable that was shown in the last monthly report. There was also mention of player trading in the report. Will player-owned shops be something that we can see soon? We know that base building is in development, which will include crafting, and also version 2 medical gameplay has yet to be discussed, but we know it's coming down the pipeline. So back to the question at hand. Is CIG too focused on combat? Well, I'll put it this way. Combat gameplay is probably the easiest game feature that will keep a lot of players entertained while work continues with other game loops. It's also easy to market ships with a lot of firepower. However, the PU is going to be more than just combat, and CIG is finally getting around to developing these features that non-combat players are looking for. We're already halfway through the 2024 year, and Pyro will definitely bring more of the combat, but it'll also bring the server tech needed for some of these non-combat features we've all been waiting for. So what do you guys think? Has CIG been too focused on combat? Thanks for stopping by and watching my Star Citizen content. I appreciate the continued support and hope that you guys liked the video, as I also look forward to reading your comments below. If you would like to be notified of my upcoming videos, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one.